Judging by the appearance of this sink, it looks like somebody used it to sort river rocks, and for that reason I'm going to replace it. I'm going to replace it at a later date with this stainless steel sink. Today I'm just going to remove this old one. If you have a Formica countertop, you probably have one of these two types of sinks installed. This type of sink, which is all one piece, goes in from the top and must be removed out the top. This type of sink that's currently installed has two pieces. There's the sink itself, and then there's this outer aluminum trim piece. This type of sink is installed from the bottom, from underneath the cabinets. The first step in removing this sink is to have a tidy workstation. I've skipped that step. The next step is to disconnect all of the water supply and drain lines underneath the sink. I'll start with the supply lines. I'll turn off these two valves. Next, I'll put a rag underneath because there will be some water when I remove these lines. Next, I will use an adjustable wrench to loosen these supply lines. For future reference, the right side is the cold side and the left side is the hot side. There we have a little bit of water coming out. The next step is to remove the drain system. If you have the type of sink that lifts out from the top, you can just loosen any one of these connections and pull the sink out. Because this one must be lowered down from the countertop, I need to remove this whole assembly. I'll do this by first disconnecting these drain lines from the strainer. They shouldn't be very tight. And somewhere on your drain system you should have a quick disconnect by the P-trap. And this just unscrews. And when this is removed, the whole drain system should come out. A little bit of water in there. As a side note, if you have a clogged drain, this P-trap is a good place to start looking for the cause of the problem. See all that junk in there? With the drain pipe out, I should have ample room to remove the sink from underneath the cabinet. This next step you can skip if you have the type of sink that installs from the top. I'm going to place a piece of wood across the top of the sink. It's important that the piece of wood be long enough that it extends onto the countertop. And then I'm going to use some wire to hook down here in this strainer, and I'll wrap it around this piece of wood. That way when I disconnect the sink underneath the counter, it won't fall on my head. That's an old sink setter's trick, you know. Attention everyone. There. That should be a good safety measure to keep the sink up while I disconnect it. Underneath the sink, you will find some clips around the circumference. Just unscrew the clips and remove them. This is the last clip. You'll probably see the sink move down a little bit as I loosen this. The first time I took one of these sinks out, it was a cast iron sink. Probably weighed 80 pounds, and I didn't know that it came out from the bottom. So I was just going along, taking these clips off, and it let go and didn't kill me or anything, but it was a surprise. I was expecting it to come out the top, but no dice. So anyway, now the sink is loose. So all we need to do now is take off my safety stick and remove the sink. Now let's see if I can lower this thing down without looking like an idiot. Careful, I don't want to scratch it. The sink is out, and this piece should just pull right out of its spot. My countertop is kind of rotten around the edges here, which isn't really good news, but that's a story for another time. And that's how to remove an old kitchen sink. Thanks for watching.